A few weeks ago, the Student Council put on the variety show here at the Performing Arts Center. The event is highly looked forward to each year. The production featured many acts, including singing,
You want a different day.
dancing, and instrumental pieces. Doing it all for the Hempfield Emergency Fund, it takes a lot to make it all happen.
So the production of this show required quite a few different technical components. We had our lighting and sound, obviously. We have what's called QLab operator, which is someone who is making projections, doing the audio cues for the music tracks, and doing the live video image magnification cues. We also have spot operators, and we have stagehands, so the people who are making sure the stuff on the stage is in the right spot at the right time, as well as wrangling the talent. But a lot of the main planning happens in the last 2 weeks when we're getting ready from stage crew side, getting everything built, and all the mics and everything set up. And then the rehearsals is the big portion of it. There's so many different people that have to come together to make this work. So just making sure everything kind of comes together perfectly. We're relying a lot on students, we're relying a lot on different staff members, so just making sure everything flows together perfectly.
Don't stop the music. We're out.
From a performer's perspective, tons of preparation goes into making sure that their act goes smoothly. The hours of preparation pay off, and the performers have lots of fun.
You know, the difference from last year to this year is definitely, it feels a lot more magical. We had a lot more freedom in terms of what we wanted, like the backdrops were different, and we got to be closer to each other. We didn't have to wear masks, and it seemed like a lot more people were definitely participating and coming out and supporting, and it was just an overall better experience. And it's always fun, you know, showing pretty much our school and our community what Hempfield has to offer.
With the effort put into making the show happen, it's no wonder how many people enjoyed it. See some of your favorite acts and more during an assembly the day before break. For Studio 7, I'm Alex Burden.
Hey Hempfield, welcome back to the 1 Minute Lesson. In this episode, we looked at a pretty cheesy situation. Check it out.
As Americans, many are familiar with the Kraft brand for their signature mac and cheese and Velveeta shells and cheese. Recently, a woman from Florida brought up a $5 million lawsuit with the company for the misleading advertisement. This caught big news station attention from CNN, BBC, and so many others. According to NPR, the woman states that the actual preparation process from stirring in water to letting the cheese sauce thicken takes longer. With a lawsuit like this, I challenged Mr. Mitchell to tell us more.
Okay, so the Kraft civil suit for $5 million plus punitive damages. So there's a woman that believes that there was false advertising in that Kraft. It's not 3.5 minutes, it's actually more. So she is actually suing Kraft Mac and Cheese for what she believes is, again, a damage or tort law against her. And it's a class action lawsuit, so she's actually doing this on behalf of what she believes is to be hundreds, if not thousands, maybe even millions of people. So Kraft responded, hey, we know about this frivolous lawsuit. It's going to be really interesting to see if a judge actually does side with Kraft Mac and Cheese or the plaintiff, because this is not necessarily like the McDonald's case in which a mislabeled coffee cup that was labeled hot burned somebody and actually hurt them. This is more or less just like say, hey, did Kraft swindle people using false advertising? And that's what the litigation is actually all about.
Thanks, Mr. Mitchell, for that awesome lesson, and make sure to tune in 2 weeks for the last episode of the 1 Minute Lesson this semester. Now, back to Alex.
Sorry about that, just a little bit of technical difficulties. Anyways, what's happening, Hempfield? It's kind of cold, don't you think? Maybe it's just me. Either way, I have my hot chocolate to keep me warm. Anyways, today is December 13th, cycle day 1, wind day 3. I'm Alex, and here's the stuff that you need to know. Unfortunately, you won't get to see my beautiful face tomorrow because we won't have a show due to the assembly schedule, but we will be back Thursday. Now it's time for the weather and menu. I hope it's not as cold outside as it is here. Alrighty. After school today, it's going to be 39 degrees and sunny, and tomorrow it's going to be just the same and sunny. Still pretty cold, but not as bad as in here. And tomorrow for the menu, we're going to have mac cheese sticks and hot and spicy chicken sandwich. Sounds pretty good. Kürzlich, or recently, students took part in a simulation to learn more about German history.
In German 4, we start to learn about post-World War II Germany. And during that time period, East and West Germany were two different countries. So we simulate that in the German 4 classroom by actually physically building a wall and separating students into the East and to the West. So it's an experiential learning versus learning directly from a textbook. There's a really great benefit to this style of learning is that students get to understand it from the actual perspective of what it was like to be a German during that time period, what it felt like to be in an oppressive system, and also for people in the West part of that simulation to see what was happening to their student counterparts, and also understand what it was like to be separated from somebody. And that was only a week long of a simulation of something that happened for 40 years.
Many students had a great time partaking in the simulation, including when the wall eventually came down. Endlich. That's all for today, Hempfield. Stay warm out there with some hot cocoa. Speaking of, have a happy hot cocoa day.